over Gander Green Lane. Blazing sunshine on a Sunday afternoon and a place at Wembley at stake for Boreham Wood and the home side Sutton United. Tranmere Rovers await. As ever, for BT Sports TV viewers, you can watch this game in 4K ultra high definition via channel 433. Teams are with us. This could be 90 minutes, could be extra time, could even be penalties. We've learnt that already this week in the playoff week. Wembley awaits one of these two teams. Let's find out who it is in the company of Adam Virgo, alongside once again Adam Somerton.
Thank you, Matt. Afternoon, everyone. These National League playoffs, the gift that keeps on giving. A week of wonderful unscripted drama. And now it's the turn of Sutton United and Boreham Wood. Two clubs who've never graced the Football League, both chasing the dream. Neither wants this to end. Players and management with the chance to write themselves into club folklore. Craig Eastman began his senior career with Arsenal, and his return from injury a big boost for Sutton today. Terrell Thomas, who's on loan from Wigan, also returns from injury in time for this semi-final. Nicky Bailey fetched a fee of £1.4 million when he moved from Charlton to Middlesbrough in 2010. Adam Virgo's picked out his player to watch in the Sutton side.
Well, I've really been impressed with Paul Doswell's squad. This man in particular, Tommy Wright, he's filtered in and out of the team slightly, but why he is starting today, because I honestly feel the back three of Boreham Wood could certainly be got at in terms of his pace in between the three centre-halves. He's got a quality finish on him, and he's never really given up. He gets opportunity after opportunity, and he always tries and gets in the right place. Big player today.
Boreham Wood's eliminator win over Fylde on Thursday night came at a significant cost. Morgan Ferrier was injured in the warm-up. Kane Smith and Jamie Turley were hurt during the game. All three miss out today. Michael Falivy, who's on loan from Watford, once again starts up front. Scott Doe, a playoff semi-finalist with Dagenham and Redbridge last season, comes into the back three. And there's also a recall for the experienced Ricky Shakes, who's in his fourth season with Boreham Wood. Who do you think could be key for the Wood today, Adam?
Well, as we saw against Fylde the other day, Bruno Andrade, for me, has just had a spectacular season. Set plays will be crucial. So Sutton are very big in the air, so the terms of quality and delivery for the likes of Stevens to go and attack is important. But we saw with his head up, he's good in the air as well, makes decent runs, and he runs with the ball brilliantly as well to get Boreham Wood up the pitch. Arguably one of the best players in the National League.
And here's how they'll both set up today, Adam.
It's interesting to see that Paul Doswell's gone with that five-man midfield, 4-4-2 usually here at home, and I think that's to counter-attack the front three in particular, because they really cause Fylde problems on the counter-attack. So just a little bit of protection in that midfield, but Eastman's central for me with Buteman, I think is a good call. That'll offer a little bit more support for Tommy Wright, who'll try and create for that space for those two in the final third.
Our referee today is Matthew Donoghue. He's taken charge of 19 National League matches this season. He's shown 50 yellow cards, just the 2 red. He's also regularly refereed in Premier League 2 and been a fourth official in the Championship, League 1 and League 2 this season. It's a scorcher in Sutton. Temperatures around 27 degrees at the moment. And it's a near capacity crowd. Sutton really have captured the imagination of the local public ahead of this game. The rewards of success in the playoffs so great, failure almost unthinkable. The playoffs, an emotional roller coaster, pressure, pain and pleasure. The eventual prize, a precious one, but the closer you get, the more defeat hurts, as one of these sides will find out later today. They finished the regular season 3rd and 4th respectively, only 4 points apart, but now they meet as equals. This a one-off game to decide who'll face Tranmere at Wembley next Saturday. And the pressure of the playoffs almost tangible at Gander Green Lane, no mistaking what this means to these clubs, and they've both, Adam, exceeded expectations just getting here.
Well, both clubs take a massive amount of credit for the journey they've been on this season. Paul Doswell, again, stabilising another fantastic season. Lou Garrard, what can you say about the youngest manager in the top 5 tiers? The way that they play football as well, really good to watch.
It's played long by Scott Doe, who's making only his 2nd start since signing for Boreham Wood in March. Coming into that defence with Turley out with a fractured jaw. Big day this for Luke Garrard. 32, the youngest manager in all of England's top 5 divisions, appointed in 2015. He has a contract until 2020. Volley forwards by Murta. It's for Levy, who gives chase. Covering here is Collins. Again, names the club's Player of the Year for a second successive season. Jamie Collins. Been the captain since 2015. It's Ricky Shakes who's forward to take this throw in for Boreham Wood. For Levy with the ball in. That's why Thomas wins it back for the U's. It's a good ball by Wright. Shakes wins it back quickly for Boreham Wood. Looking to make a fast start here, Luke Garrard's side, which he promised they would do. And a good game for Levy, coming in at late notice to replace the injured Morgan Ferrier, who was hurt in the warm-up ahead of that eliminator against Fylde on Thursday night. Chip forward by Stevens. Andrade trying to make something of it. What a key player he could be today.
I found out on Thursday the quality that he's got. Despite the missed penalty as well. Just a player of real quality that, game by game this season, has just grown in confidence. Certainly one of those players today you'd be looking at for a bit of quality.
Boreham Wood Supporters Player of the Year and 20 goals in the regular season for Bruno Andrade. Just got away from Wright. It's Taylor giving chase for Sutton United, but guided out of play by Scott Doe. He took his players to a reasonably local hotel last night. Wanted to build that camaraderie, said Paul Doswell, and tweeted that they were playing Monopoly together. Apparently, Josh Taylor got the most cash, Kenny Davis got the most property, and Craig Dundas was potless, apparently. I think he wanted to get them in the mindset of ahead of the FA Cup ties last season. He kept them in a hotel, even though they were at home against Leeds United, and we all know what happened then. Paul Doswell saying that he felt the feeling in the group was very similar last night to what it was ahead of that Leeds United game. How much of a difference can the little touches like that make, Adam?
Yeah, definitely, you sort of want that camaraderie the night before. Even small things, just you know they're going to get a decent night's sleep. Preparation for the morning, the right food and nutrition going into them. So it's certainly the biggest game of the season, so you need to do everything right, all the little fine margins that could get you a place at Wembley.
It's Murta's ball in there. Forwards by Louis John. It's Champion who won the header. And that's why Thomas got it forward for Sutton.
Certainly a tentative start from both sides. Struggling to get the ball down a little bit and get a little pattern of play, get a foothold into the game, try and take control of it.
Shakes, who's in his 4th season with Boreham Wood with the throw-in. It's an up and under from Eastman. Balanta. Shakes, Murta. Andrade in a rush to try and keep that in. It's a great day to take the family to the football. A really good atmosphere at Gander Green Lane. The Boreham Wood supporters really have turned out in their droves. Would have the lowest average attendance in the National League, but more than doubled that for the visitor filed in the eliminator during the week. Chip forward by John. Really does emphasise how big a game this is for both of these clubs when you consider that neither have ever played in the Football League, but Sutton were playing in the National League South as recently as 2016, Boreham Wood as recently as 2015. It's a really quick rise for both of these football clubs to think that they're each one game from Wembley here. Stevens with the header, and in turn Taylor. It goes to Wright, gets away from Champion, has Taylor in support. First significant attack this by Sutton. Onto the side netting it goes from Josh Taylor.
And then Harry Buterman on the edge of the 6-yard box. First real play that Tommy Wright has got in behind Champion. Great little show and pace here. And Buterman went back. It was always a difficult angle. You've seen the number of white shirts there. And reflection have been a very, very difficult pass to find Buterman there.
And Paul Doswell, a really big fan of Josh Taylor. Said he made his mind up within 15 minutes of his trial game, but he wanted to sign him last summer. A bit of time with Palace as a youngster. He's had trials with Wigan and Birmingham as well. And from Stevens finding touch.
He was immense on Thursday against Fylde. Crucial end to the game where Fylde were trying to press and get that equalising goal. Him and Turley in particular were colossal in the air.
Long throw-in coming here from Craig Eastman. Terrell Thomas is up from the back, and Collins is as well. Misjudged by Wright. It's worth reminding you that we must have a winner this afternoon. Extra time and penalties, both possibilities. Two of the games this week have gone to extra time as well, and we had one incredibly dramatic penalty shootout as well at the recreation ground where Ebbsfleet beat Aldershot. Brent Smith, the man in goal for Boreham Wood, has had a fine season. In fact, I think you had him in your team of the year, didn't you?
He's been really, really good. Knew about him through the ranks at Brighton. When he stepped back to go to Bognor Regis and play regular games really, and being picked up, and say his England C call up this season was certainly justified. He's great as well. His kicking is superb. Starts attacks out from the back, from the floor, and in his hands as well.
Andrade with Felivi calling for it in the middle, and Balanta's in there too. It's just been cleared. A little bit fortunate there, Jamie Butler, that palm didn't fall straight to a Boreham Wood player. Heart-in-mouth moment that for Sutton United.
Well, you make a great save. It is a good save because it's fired across you. But then what you need afterwards is someone to be there first. It was John in the end that just got something on it. First time that we've seen Andrade in that final third. That's a decent save. And when you make a save like that, you need someone to back it up, and John was there to clear it.
Aswad Thomas here forward to take this throw in. 3 times he's lost National League playoff semi-finals, 2 with Grimsby, 1 with Dover. Would likely to get chances here today. Sutton have only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 9 games. No other team in the top 10 conceded more goals at home than Sutton. There's certainly plenty of players, even with the injuries they've got right now in that Boreham Wood side, that can exploit any sort of vulnerabilities in that respect.
Listen, they are massive, massive losses for Luke Garrard's side, Ken Smith in particular, but they're a solid unit. The players will know and will certainly know what they're doing with their jobs.
White chasing, Smith clearing, Balanta. What have you made of the first 11 minutes and how these two sides have settled down?
Well, they're cancelling each other out pretty much at the moment. I mentioned earlier that neither side have really got control of the game yet in terms of possession and getting on the ball. I thought Sutton maybe would have started better in terms of that with the extra man in that midfield area. But it's a big game. You can clearly see that the players are slightly nervous, not wanting to make that first mistake or wrong decision.
Brought down by Balanta. Good movement by Andrade, goes wide instead here to Shakes. It's going to be Boreham Wood's ball. Movement here from Murta. It's like Thomas got it clear and then was fouled by Andrade. With QPR as a youngster, Bruno Andrade, looking to make his way back up the pyramid. Morgan Ferrier, as Adam was saying, a significant miss again here today for Boreham Wood. He was injured in the warm-up ahead of the victory over Fylde on Thursday, still not fit enough for a return. Scored 15 goals in total this season because he scored, of course, 8 with Dagenham and Redbridge as well, Ferrier.
That's a good play there from Danny Wood. I was just getting in front of Bonawinra first.
The last thing they need is another injury, and that doesn't look too good, does it? That's the man with the problem. It's not the biggest squad as it is, Boreham Woods.
No, I mentioned earlier that players can come in and fit in positions, but when you start losing injuries again with a small squad, it's always going to be very, very difficult then to must be looking to be playing players out of position.
Just beyond Doe, it was headed clear by Collins. This is Borham, who's in his second spell with Sutton United, returned midway through this season. Thomas. One up towards Taylor, dealt with by Scott Doe.
In terms of possession, I just don't think Sutton just getting the game in enough. Be slightly braver. They are looking to turn Boreham Wood early on, which you can certainly understand with Tommy Wright's place. But then there comes a time when you need someone to go long, and then you have to go short because the back three start dropping, and that's what creates a space in front of them. Slightly braver on the ball.
And it's long up towards Wright. Seeing very little of the ball in the midfield area in the first quarter of an hour, Sutton United. Brought down by Balanta. Champion. Out comes Butler. Sutton's 3G pitch, a constant source of debate, on occasion complaint as well for visiting sides. They don't all enjoy it. But Boreham Wood won't mind this at all, as Luke Garrard was saying ahead of the game. They train on a 3G service, which is right next to their pitch at Meadow Park. And that has some synthetics, I'm told, within it as well. Although it is a grass surface, there is plastic woven into it. I don't know the science of it, but that's what they tell me. So I do know it's a fantastic pitch at Boreham Wood.
It really, really is. As we were saying before, you're coming into that last home game of the season, and it looks like it's the first game of the season, the quality of it.
Balanta was just beaten to it, and here's Taylor for Sutton United. Doe on the side today for the injured Turley. Sutton are unbeaten in their 2 previous meetings with Boreham Wood this season. It finished 1-1 here on New Year's Day. Balanta with a 90th minute equaliser for Boreham Wood then, but the U's were convincing winners in the reverse fixture. It was 4-0 at Meadow Park, 2 goals in each half. Craig Eastman got a couple that day. Aswad Thomas. Beautyman just preventing the goal kick.
Just early signs already from Luke Garrard, just shouting at Michael Falivi just to stop the ball playing out from the back, because the centre-halves are looking to try and play it long early on. Now they've got the 3 up there. He wants them to work hard to stop the source going forward.
Up comes Aswad Thomas to take the throw in there. He was one of 3 players to swap over for Sutton last summer. Just got away from Boreham, where champion made sure of that. Cross it comes to Doe. Now right, Taylor. Eastman. This is Bailey. Wright, who's got Boreham in support. Louis John with the early cross, which comes off Woodart. Eastman with the throw-in. Attempted return pass from Beautyman, way off its intended target. We've played in playoffs, Adam. Tell us about the pressure element here.
Well, it's massive, absolutely massive. A season's hard work to be decided on one game for Sutton and 2 to get to Wembley for Boreham Woods. It's a different kind of game. You certainly will feel the nerves as a player in the dressing room, trying to not think about the occasion and just trying to play it as another 90 minutes. I mean, they are unique. They are, the players are aware the pressure they are under for the football club to get promoted once they're here now.
There's no second leg. No chance of redemption after today in terms of this game. Have to have a winner this afternoon, be that with the aid of extra time or penalties. By the way, Sutton's 5th playoff campaign. They're yet to have a successful one. Paul Doswell has been in charge for 4 of those, by the way. 2009, 2010, 2012 and 2014 as well. Boreham will try to take it off Shakes. Out comes Butler. Now it drops for Wright, who's got Beautyman in support. Long by Doe, brought down well here by Louis John. Bailey.
Just seems to be breaking a little bit more down too much for Paul Doswell's side at the moment, just breaking down in the wrong areas.
Well, what a day it was at Prenton Park yesterday. Tranmere eventually reaching Wembley. That was the goal that put them 3-2 up. A lovely free kick for Norwood. And then Larnell Cole making it 4-2. But remember, they were losing twice in that game. They went 1-0 down and 2-1 down, Tranmere. We're going to get similar drama today. Aswan Thomas with the ball to the back post. Decent header back into play from Beautyman.
He did brilliantly there. Need to start gambling a little bit more.
It's well done by Terrell Thomas, who really has been excellent for Sutton on loan from Wigan. It's that time at Charlton as well, Terrell Thomas. Back on by Ricketts. There's another slight doubt for this game. The Boreham Wood captain, they are a bit walking wounded at the moment. Sutton with that extra bit of rest. Boreham, Taylor, Eastman. So Tranmere through to the final at Wembley this coming Saturday. And it will be either Sutton or Boreham Wood who will face them, and we'll be there as well for the final Saturday at 2:30. It's on 1 and also in 4K UHD. As Tranmere lost to Forest Green in last season's final, a chance of redemption for Nicky Mellon and many of the players, as that squad is still at the club.
I'd say both sides yesterday game, Adam, deserve a lot of credit. I think actually on Darryl McMahon's side in particular exceeded expectations at the start.
Yeah, they were a credit to themselves, weren't they? Absolutely.
Wish a good character Tranmere. 2 goals behind at home as well, with the crowd on them a little bit. Found a way of winning.
Here's Bolarimwa with space to run into. He's got only right up in support. On he goes here, Bolarimwa. Looking to turn away from champion. Balanta. Movement from Andrade. He gets on the ball here and he'll look to strike this. Well, that one wide, but he is capable from that sort of distance.
We don't mind that, because he's got a picture in his head already before the ball's gone to him. Turn sure, he knows he can turn. Would have certainly had to be spectacular to beat Jamie Butler from that range, but the more time he gets on the turn and looks to try and shoot, obviously not one will nestle up in the back of the net.
We have Ladbrokes highlights coming up tomorrow, 6:45, BT Sport 1 for that. And our live coverage continues from Tannadice, the playoffs semi-final first leg, Dundee United against Livingston tomorrow, 7:15. It's also on 1. You can understand the players needing a drinks break here. Very warm indeed at pitch level. Just while they have that drinks break, we should tell you about the Edinburgh Derby. Always a cracking atmosphere at that. Hearts against Hibernian at Tynecastle. Wednesday, 7:15, BT Sport 1. And then at Easter Road, it's Hibernian against Rangers next Sunday at midday, BT Sport 1 for that. I bet you wouldn't have fancied playing in this, would you?
Certainly not. Really, really hot today, and so it's good for the referee just to go and get some fluids down them.
Not the only one who's hot and bothered. Certainly has that end of season feel that the sun brings. That Sutton have never had a successful playoff campaign in 5 previous attempts. Boreham Wood, in contrast, They've got a 100% record in playoffs. Previous two in 2010, 2015, both successful. Andrade just had his heels clipped there.
He did. He's thinking about the shot as well. I think he saw Butler slightly off his line when he brought the ball down. He was just there. He was just about to open it up and then got himself caught there by Craig Eastman. And then he looked to fancy to try and test Butler from this distance. Even a man of his quality and the season that he's had. Absolutely optimistic.
Butler still concerned enough to make sure there are 3 in the wall that he's assembled there. This season he's had Bruno Andrade, not just his 20 league goals, but got another one in the eliminator. 11 assists as well. As Andrade and Adam Virgo was right, it was a little bit optimistic.
It was, and you had to take something spectacular. We saw one from James Norwood yesterday that nestled into the right-hand side of the goal.
Great stage for someone like him to show what he can do, though. No doubt he's one of the most talented players at this level.
Yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant. You know, he's played up front as well as on that left-hand side.
Means so much to the Sutton United supporters. If they could build on the success that they've had in recent years. Paul Doswell's called it a golden period in the club's history after the promotion from National League South, which was followed by their first season back in the National League, which saw them, of course, also reach the 5th round of the FA Cup as well, the Arsenal game. Now this season, a chance of Wembley, a chance of the Football League. Remarkable progress. Good movement here from Wright. He was trapped by Doe. Not quite the tempo, is there, to the game that we saw yesterday?
Just looking at Sutton a little bit, you think with the week off, I thought they'd started a little bit more faster. 5-man midfield. Boreham was down the left-hand side, and he was looking to get a cross in. There was only really Tommy right there. I expect the likes of Booterman to make runs in. Taylor as well. I mean, no rush at the moment. Maybe they're conserving themselves for that second half, maybe.
Well, the weather inevitably will be a factor in terms of energy conservation, but in goes that throw in. Boreham were hoping it drops here for him. Louis John got a touch to that. Terrell Thomas racing to keep it in. It's the ball back as well. It's a good ball over, and a header from Booterman. It's too far away.
That was the first time, as you mentioned then. The ball's out wide, now you're getting Sutton players into that penalty box. Booterman, he does that really well. Maybe just mistimed his run a little bit because he had to do a standing jump in the end and come and attack it.
Let's see what Grant Holt and Dean Saunders have made of the first half an hour there with Matt Smith.
Cheers, Adam. Yeah, a bit of football almost broke out there, Dean.
Well, in the trade, you know, I've managed in games like this. When you get these crunch games like this in this league, sometimes this happens. Both teams are not prepared to play any build-up play to get to the last third, so they're just hooking it on. Little Wright up front is playing against 3 6'5" centre-halves. They bang in. There's another one, a 50-yard ball, and he's got no chance. So the game needs a goal. If there's a goal, it's the only way the game's going to open up. But both teams at the moment are not prepared to play any football. They're just hooking it on.
Percentage stuff at the moment, Grant.
Yeah, that's it. I think just playing percentages, keep going back in, turn them, and that's one little bit of play. But they're just nervous, and that's the thing. And I tell you what, it's getting hotter and hotter out there. So, as I said, I think both managers want to get in half time and have a little chat with them and try and sort things out, I think.
Of course, the hotter it gets and the longer it goes, you might think Sutton have the advantage with Boreham having played Thursday. We'll find out, perhaps. Back to you, Adam.
Yeah, there certainly does seem to be nerves playing a part a bit, but as you said earlier, Adam, the stakes are so high for both of these clubs. One of the biggest games, if not the biggest game in their respective histories. No one wants to make a mistake.
It just seems, the ball players in midfield. Nicky Bailey out from the back. Ricketts, Murta as well for Boreham. In the first game, particularly Boreham, they were getting on the ball, but now, as Dean Saunders just said, they're looking just to turn each other, and it just seems they just don't want to make the first mistake.
I'm hoping this game was going to burst into life soon. Oh, a woolly hat in this weather. Goodness me. It must be not far off 30 degrees out there.
It might be protection, they might not have any hair under that.
Nice bit of skill from Balanta. Just ushered away from the ball there by Stevens. Boreham. Livy just a little over-eager there. He has looked a bit isolated so far, hasn't he, Tommy Wright?
If you've got to go direct into Tommy Wright, you need to play it down the channels, so at least he can chase the back three and go towards them. The minute you go central with a long ball, just forget about it. Just work on trying to win on those second balls. But even those quality balls are not really hitting the target, and they're not pressing up in that midfield to win these second balls in and around the 18-yard box.
Balanta with one for Bruno Andrade to chase. Sliding in was Nicky Bailey. And famously, his pre-match meal is 9 chicken nuggets, no salad. And the irony of that, his parents used to run a fruit and veg store. It served him pretty well. He's had a good career.
Good options in that holding midfield. Kenny Davis is another one that I feel slightly unjustified not getting a starting place, but you're talking about experience, and Nicky Bailey's got that in abundance.
His second spell now with Sutton. 33 years old, still feels that he can move back up the leagues if given the opportunity. He'll hope to, of course, get to League Two with Sutton United this season. By Collins here to Butler. Glorious day. I'm not quite sure how much it's helping the action on the pitch at the moment right now, though. The players will be feeling that heat. Murta with the pass here. Clear space for Shakes to run into. Volley clearance by Terrell Thomas. It's fallen kindly here for Taylor, as Wright points where he wants it through the middle. Taylor looks to go on the outside instead. Boreham in the box too. It's over towards Boreham. It's a chance here maybe for Sutton to pull back for Beauty, and he placed it, and it's wide from Wright. Best chance of the game so far for Sutton.
I think Harry Buderman's saying, play a little bit more squarer so I can come and shoot first time. Great counter-attacking play there from Sutton. The first time that we've really seen it. Just the ball back to him there was just a little bit too straight for him to get a decent strike on it. And it's just one of those that fall to Tommy Wright. 9 times out of 10 that goes in the back of the net. Unfortunately for him, it just goes the wrong side of the post.
13 league goals this season for Tommy Wright. Doswell has admitted there has been real interest from Football League clubs in him, but has signed a new contract with Sutton, and the player seems to agree with his manager that the best place for him right now is at Sutton United to continue his development. He's only 21. Eastman. Last 10 minutes of this first half. referee has just had to stop play for the moment here because there is a drone over the pitch. You can say it is nothing to do with BT Sport. Well, the referee does have to do this in these circumstances if there is anything hovering over the pitch in that manner. They do have to stop the action for the potential safety of the players and the fans as well. Not one, but two drones. Let's hear from Jeff Brazier, who's pitch side.
Just speaking to the fourth official, he said that they'll have to stop the game until those drones are well and truly gone. He's going to get the head of security at Sutton United to go and try and find who's operating the drones and get rid of them. But until then, we're going to be having a delay in the game.
It's not the worst of days for something like that to happen. We wouldn't want it to happen, but the players will be looking to take on fluids at every opportunity.
Yeah, certainly players just to refuel and just regather and just get a little team talking tactically to try and get things right. It's certainly been a cagey first half.
Not too much in terms of goalmouth action in the first 38 minutes. We do have to have a winner here today, so there is going to be some drama at some point. Let's go pitch side again to Matt Smith.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, let's just get the thoughts of the fellas. Perhaps not so much on what's happening now, but what this is an opportunity for the two managers to say to their players, Dean.
Yeah, in the trade they call it parasite football that's being played, which means you feed off the opposition's mistakes. You're not going to take any chances. Sutton are playing with one striker and there's three centre-backs marking him, so they must be outnumbering them somewhere else. So what they've got to do, they've got to get on the ball at the back, they've got to use the extra man in midfield they've got and keep switching play, and then get the midfield players can go and join right. But at the moment, because they're going back to front, he can't get hold of the ball because he's 5'8" and he's playing against three giants, so the ball just keeps going back and forth and back and forth.
It strikes me, Grant, that two things really. One, that this type of football perhaps is percentage for Boreham Wood, who obviously are the more tired from Thursday, and also this break in play, however it's come about, isn't a bad thing for them.
No, they'll be happy with that. I think what Sutton got sucked into is thinking about the game from the other night. I think that they keep thinking, if they turn Doe, if they turn Stevens and get them turning backwards, will that fatigue catch up with them? I think they got sucked into not playing their game. I think they got sucked into counter their game. I think if they just take a little bit of pass, like Dean said, Nick Bales is on it all the time. Just give him the ball and tell him to play it outside, and they'll get in. But what they're doing, they're playing into Boreham with hands a little bit. They'll be absolutely delighted that them drones have come. Give them a little breather, have a little chance of a chat. Boreham would do play percentage football, and then they feed off that. What you find in the second half is they do that, and then in the second half they pass it around a little bit more.
The drones are down, I'm reliably informed. They're not ours, I promise you that. They are down, the police are on top of that, and as you can see, we're ready to resume, Adam.
Yeah, it's a sign of the times, isn't it? Drones stop play. Remember the days it just used to be a stray cat or something like that used to get onto the pitch. Our drone problem is sorted, I'm told. Now 3.5 minutes stoppage there. Opportunity here then from the set piece. They've not created a great deal from open play, Boreham Wood. But they've committed a fair few forward here. Stevens on the edge of the area, Balanta and Andrade and Falevi. And Champion all are too. Murta, and he'll play it in here. Easy header clear for Collins. Champion sat up to be hit. It was Bailey who blocked it. Shake's taking his time over this throw-in. Just been no real genuine momentum for either of these teams in this first half. Murta, Boreham Wood's Player of the Year, next to this. Shakes with the ball over. was Doe who had the effort.
I don't really have too many other options around him, Scott Doe, to go for another pass, for another decision. Bad little first touch there. It was difficult then to get momentum to strike the ball.
Making only his second start since joining Boreham Wood, Scott Doe, coming in with Jamie Turley out injured. He was saying to me before the game how he really relishes playing in these big contests. Couldn't really be a better game for him to come in to start again. He was Dagger's captain as well.
He was a great experience, great signing. Comes into a back three which certainly suits him.
Right, Beautyman, and he's got it back to right. I see here it's Boreham who's in there too. Well, initially that it would run for right, but it was Boreham who tried to seize the opportunity.
Well, he certainly had the best chances in that final third for Sutton Bolowinma. Not too sure if Tommy Wright could have maybe taken that off him. He pins champion pretty well. It was going to be very difficult to get a snapshot towards Grant Smith's goal.
His second spell with the club was in the National League South Team of the Year when they got promoted in 2016. Sutton scored 11 goals that season. Came back to the club from Grimsby in January. How do you think he'll be feeling, Adam, Paul Doswell?
Frustrated. I think his side hasn't got into the game for a period of the time where they've put Boreham Wood under any considerable pressure in terms of tempo.
Levy with the good ball here, and it's Balanta, and it's in. Angelo Balanta breaks the deadlock in this playoff semi-final. 10 goals for him in the regular season. That's a crucial one in the playoffs. And it's first blood to Boreham Wood.
It was a great finish from him. And they've certainly been on top. You just look at Thomas, is he just slightly narrow? Because he goes in tight, and all of a sudden that space is on that right-hand side for Balanta to come in. He wins ahead at first over Bailey. And when you get into that situation, you need a cool finish. And he certainly does that with a great first touch, strikes it across Butler. Just lost their shape a little bit, Sutton there. Big goal before half-time.
He was a National League playoff winner with Bristol Rovers back in 2015. Is he about to repeat the feat, Angelo Balanta? Well, it's the last thing Sutton need, Adam, but it's probably exactly what the game needed.
Certainly. Just before half-time, though, certainly not ideal for Sutton and Paul Doswell, but it might kick him into gear because they haven't started the game well enough at the moment in terms of the tempo, in terms of controlling the game. That's a major thing I've really felt from his side. They haven't really had any domination in the game, considering they haven't played this week.
Collins looking to get to it. Louis John's in there too for the use. Cleared by Murta, set forward again by Beautyman. Took his goal nicely, Balanta. Signed a new one-year deal with the option for a further year in March, the former QPR trainee. So 5 added minutes, partly as a result of that stoppage for 2 drones that were overhead. Some drinks breaks as well. Champion with the throw-in, Collins with the header for Sutton. It's just about stayed in play, or has it now? No, it's still in. He's going for Sutton so far. It's almost as if the occasion is passing them by a little bit.
A bit like Fylde, you know, those first 20 minutes that we were talking about in the game against Bournemouth, where it was lost. So he has changed his formation today, Paul Doswell, to try and counter Boreham Wood on that counter-attack, but when the ball's been out wide, they haven't had enough bodies in the box apart from that Booterman header. When the ball's been out wide, when it's been crossed in, they've just not been at it. Paul Doswell's side plays on the front foot. They haven't done that so far.
And Jamie Collins had a lot to say to the assistants a minute or so ago. I just wonder whether the referee, just having a word about that, it's Nicky Bailey called over as well. Well, they're clearly frustrated, the Sutton players, with the way that this first half has gone. It's understandable frustration as well.
We've seen the half just bypassed them, really.
They've got to make sure they're switched on here. Here's this set-piece routine that we saw from Boreham Wood on Thursday against Fylde as well. Bailey's had a clear. And 2 of the 5 minutes to be added on at the end of this first half. Boreham Wood so tough to beat on their travels. No team in the National League lost fewer away games this season. Only 5 teams beat them away from home. Same number of losses suffered away from home as by Macclesfield, the champions. So it's not going to be easy, this, for Sutton to try and turn this around.
Well, the one thing you can say with Paul Doswell, he's got a strong bench on there. Kenny Davis can come into that midfield. He's got Ross Lafayette, Cadogan, and Byron Harrison. So he's got good options there. May look to change it early. So he send the players out now.
And it should be the fresher of the 2 sides as well, Sutton, which may play a part in the latter stages of the match. No midweek game for them. They used 3rd place finish, meant they went straight through to the semi-finals. Boreham Wood without that luxury. Could they hit back before half-time? Here's Wright to drive one in. Gathered in by Grant Smith.
Well, he's looked lively, considering he's been very frustrated in this first half in terms of the service that he's got into him. They do press well. That's on Scott Doe, and all of a sudden looking to try and shape up and get that shot. It was saved for Smith in the end.
John with the header. Butler beaten with that shot earlier on from Angelo Balanta. Took his goal very well indeed. The Boreham Wood midfielder.
I think he'd be delighted with his side's first half performance. They've looked pretty sharp, similar to the game on Thursday. The injuries that he's had to deal with as well. Been very, very disciplined when they haven't had the ball. Frustrated Sutton in this first half.
Said his players are tired, but it was all about them having the right mindset today. Seems to have really drilled that into them. Nicely done by Balanta. And now it's Bruno Andrade. Just about kept it in, but the cross couldn't find Felivi. Last seconds of this first half. Doe got there before Taylor, importantly for Boreham Wood. So it's Luke Garrard's side who have the lead at half-time, away from home at Gander Green Lane in this playoff semi-final. First leg, the only goal of a first half, a few chances it should be said, was scored by the 27-year-old Colombian Angelo Balanta. Chances very much at a premium for Sutton. We'll get the views of Grant Holt and Dean Saunders with Matt Smith shortly, but at half-time it's Sutton United 0, Boreham Wood 1.